Get it? Is it on? Everybody, welcome to another episode of Taking Over the World with Ed and Aaron. Ed can't talk right now because he's delirious. Listen.
I am not delirious. You just made me laugh because you're taking it all personal.
Ed wants to come back in his next life as a lion.
Correct.
But not no ordinary lion. You want to be alpha lion. You don't want to be second in command lion.
Correct. Alpha lion in charge of the whole damn savannah.
You get to tell people when they eat, where they go.
Everything.
My argument was if the lion, obviously Ed went lion, I can't copy.
Right.
I'm going silverback gorilla. I think the silverback gorilla is gangster.
And you just got mad because I said I'm going to snap your neck
and
drag your lifeless body around.
I think that's aggressive.
That's not aggressive.
Why can't we be friends?
Because it doesn't work that way.
Why can't you be the lion of your little jungle and leave me up in the mountains like with my silverback stuff and beating on my chest and doing my thing? Why you got to come at me and snap my neck and drag me through the forest? I just didn't think there was
drag
a need
your
for it.
lifeless body.
I didn't think there was a need for it. I felt that it was a little aggressive.
Sorry. It was a little aggressive. Sorry about that. It was. So, how was your weekend?
Listen, my weekend was outstanding. I did something for the first time. Courtesy of Mr. John Barry, I went to the Raiders game. First time I've been to the Las Vegas. Actually, I think it's the first time I've ever been to a Raiders game. Back in the day, I went to some Rams games in Southern California. Been to Cardinal games. Obviously lived there. But, yeah, man, first time in Allegiant Stadium, seeing the Raiders play. Dude, that place is electric. Everything everybody says about it, like, I'm not even sure it does it justice. Like, I'm going to go on record and say within 5 years, we win our division. Because, I mean, the place echoes. It's loud. The atmosphere is similar to the Golden Knights. Like, It's electric. It's electric in there. And everything radiates. And then it's like, dude, we were up behind the live stage, which I'm not sure how many NFL teams or sports teams have live stages in, like, the stadium, right? So you're behind it. Dude, all the glass opens out. Like, you're just staring at the strip. Like, it's pretty rad. Like, I'd like to go there at night. Now I'm getting like greedy. Like I haven't gone to a game, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to a night game. But dude, the lights looking at that place has got to be amazing. And then we go get a cocktail. There's 5 minutes to go at halftime. Rumors start flying around. Bone Thugs and Harmony is playing at halftime. So we just hold our ground, and we got the football game, and we got to see Bone Thugs and Harmony basically like a private concert. We're like, I mean, literally like high five distance to them.
Nice.
It was amazing. It was awesome.
Nice. And that's the thing is nobody thought that the Vegas was a sports town.
Yeah.
And the Fortress was voted one of the hardest places to play by NHL. And now you're saying Allegiant Stadium is ridiculous.
Dude, it's next level.
I don't think it really matters what sport we get. We're just hungry for sports. Because a lot of people here like sports.
And to your point, I mean, you just look at the Las Vegas ballpark right down the street from us. It's been voted like the best AAA stadium like 3 or 4 times already.
Right.
In its short existence, whatever it is. So it's like, to your point, like we're now progressing. Everybody's like, we're in that transition from Sin City to Sports City. Right? Because it's like, okay, you got the Aces dominating on the WNBA front.
They're ridiculous.
Right?
I've seen them play. They're really good.
So you got the Raiders. You got the Golden Knights, obviously. Now you got the A's, the Las Vegas A's coming.
Right.
Now, I mean, we know NBA is coming anytime. So, I mean, you got this thing covered. We get F1, this last year that came in. So
UNLV stepping it up.
UNLV, I mean, shoot, we're going to bowl games, the basketball. Like
the basketball program's always been really good. The women's basketball has been really, really good too. So now, I mean, we're sports town.
Which is crazy.
No longer Sin City. So you know what? Then my buddy, Pat McAfee, will actually be on the show one day. He'll be here with us chatting it up because we're a sports city.
I mean, we're pretty much best friends already.
We are.
So, I mean...
I know you and I text with him back and forth. And we talk to him.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know?
For sure. His fight is our fight. We're going after Sports Center next.
Listen,
we're going after Sports Center next.
We're going after all his enemies are our enemies just because.
That's right. And speaking of taking over the world, we talked about this last week, and I think it's a good time to bring it up as we transition. Like, you're almost looking at Las Vegas as a transition, right? From Sin City to Sports City.
Right.
We're seeing home buyers come back into the market like crazy. And I think it's a good time to kind of tell everybody a little bit, like, the reason this podcast is called Taking Over the World is because, well, One, we want to take over the world.
That's automatic. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
And the way that we want to do that is through real estate. And what we do here is, the dynamic of the Ogre network being commercial, residential, and being like that next
flipping,
level place.
hard money. Like we want to take over everything. So we currently do real estate here.
Right.
Where else do we do real estate?
Miami.
Oh, in the 305.
Right. We got an office there. But not only that, is like as we look to expand to other places, taking over the world is we have connections all over the country.
Right.
Like maybe we don't have an office, our own expansion office in, Arizona or California or Dallas.
Just yet.
Just yet. But it's like we have connections everywhere
Right.
we go, which helps us. Like I'm working with a client right now who was referred to me is that they have a property in a different state. Well, as I told them, hey, listen, we'll get you handled here. No problem. Me and my team will take care of it. We got you all dialed in. If you don't know anybody there, I got some recommendations for you. We'll get you a couple, let you kind of vet them too. They're people we feel comfortable doing business with. And it helps us keep everything kind of more efficient and streamlined because I can call, hey, agent over in XYZ state. Like, hey, keep me in the loop on everything because we got a little bit of contingents upon sales working and stuff like that. So it's really remarkable. Like when we talk about taking over the world, how real estate, like it's kind of the foundation of it,
Right?
And it's awesome to think about.
Yeah, and we like to. So everybody thinks it's like real estate. Everybody's like, oh, you just want to be the next whatever $1 million listing guys or whatever. That's not our thing. Right. Our thing, I think, is more about providing service and creating relationships with people.
Right.
I went on an appointment on Friday. Just real quick to talk about that. I went on an appointment Friday. My sellers, I've known them for 10 years. I've sold them their original house, which is an investment. They sold that, bought a bigger house. That was an investment. Then they ended up moving here from out of state. And now they need to sell that house for medical reasons and other things. And their concern was, hey, how do we use the proceeds from this, since that house is paid off, to buy my next one? And we have challenges with what we're looking for.
Right.
And I don't have a set time. Like it took me 2.5 hours there with them.
Right.
But we went over scenarios and we're like, hey, you know what? Based on your scenario, you want to kind of be in the Sun City area. One of them still works. And I'm like, okay, so why don't we look for something with a casita? So now you're actually separated from the rest of the house. The wife could do what she wants to do during the day in the house. He can work outside in the casita and I told him the only rule is that when my wife kicks me out, I can use your casita at night.
That's right.
And just coming up with the solutions and the answers, that's how we want to take over the world. It's
right.
With the service. The money and everything else is irrelevant. It's providing service and providing things that people need. And like people need service. They don't just need somebody to sell a house.
Well, I think that goes back to, like our core vision of the relationship. And you just had a comment about your clients there for 10 years. And, I got a call, I think it was Thursday when we were in the office, from one of my very first clients, and they were like, listen, I helped them sell their home. They moved out of state and stuff, which was great. I helped orchestrate that over there. Again, just like we talked about, keeping it inside of our network. Everything was streamlined, boom, boom, bang. And they called me the other day. They're like, hey, it's time for us to come back, right? And so, again, you have a lot of real estate agents that are so transactional focused that it's like, oh, well, I can do it cheaper. I can do it faster. It goes back to that old thing we've talked about, the 3 words that I think I got it from, watching a Brad Lee video. It's like fast, cheap, and good. You can pick 2, but you can't have all 3. And so a lot of these agents, they go out and they want to be fast and they want to be cheap because all they're thinking about is, when do I get to cash my commission check? When do I get to do this for me? Me. And they lose focus on what we're really here for is for our clients. And that's what we go out to try to establish. And so like when you have 10-year clients calling you, when I've got clients, this is, like 4 years ago calling me, we've got people referring us. And that's what we were talking about it on a panel the other day. Yeah. Majority of our business comes from referrals. Well, a lot of agents are out there cold calling and stuff. And not that there's a time and place for that, but we have built our group and what we do on both sides in commercial and residential on relationships, and hence people reaching out to us because they know the value is there. And to your point, it's not the money issue. It's they know they're going to get everything they need. They know we're focused on the details. We're going to lay everything out for us. We've got training videos that go over the whole process for them. It's a different world that we've set up.
So that's how we're taking over the world.
That's it, baby.
That's how we're going to do it. It's just one step at a time, one market at a time. until we have one in every market.
So now it's going to pivot right into something that I saw this weekend that's taking over the world and being creative, right?
Okay.
Like you love some situations that take creative thinking. Like that,
Yeah.
like not that you love them, you don't want to be in them, but that's where you hit like next year. That's like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
out of here.
right.
Like I'm hitting 6th gear, pedal to the metal. Like give me it, I got it.
Right.
I saw this place out of, I believe it was Indiana, out in Indianapolis, Indiana, something like that. These people took an old baseball stadium. Have you seen this?
No.
They turned it into an apartment complex, condo complex.
I saw somebody do that with a high school.
138 units. They kept all the exterior walls. Like obviously they had to change up some things to make them
Right.
livable as 10. But dude, everything, like all the patios open to the baseball field and stuff. So I'm assuming I haven't looked around, like that's their yard, just like their courtyard and stuff. But I was like, dude, talk about somebody being creative. Would you live if you were at that point in your life where you were looking for an apartment? Like, I think I would live there.
100%. Like I would, there's no question.
I am setting up wiffle ball on the fly. Like
Now I wish I could have bought the old Orange Bowl.
right?
Done it there.
Dude, I saw it and I was just like, dude, that is somebody being creative. And that's, kind of going down to what we do here is like, it's not that we can't do something. It's okay. We've hit we don't look at things as objections or we can't do things. It's like, okay, let's find a way to pivot and let's make this thing work. That's for the best of our client. And like this guy, obviously there was some developer that was listening to his client and the keyword listening.
Right.
It's like, oh, you got this property? Instead of trying to figure out a minor league baseball affiliate or something in here, let's turn it into 138 livable units. Like, what?
Yeah. No, so somebody, I read one, and I've seen pictures of one, where in a small town, I don't want to say where because I don't remember, but they bought a high school, an old abandoned high school, and they turned it into condos. And they left the auditorium as the auditorium.
Right.
They left the library as a functioning library with like a big, they just installed a big screen and stuff so the tenants can go watch movies there and stuff like that. But they left a lot of the things original to the high school.
That's wild.
Like that's sick.
Yeah.
That almost makes me want to go to one of these little small towns somewhere and be like, hey, you're selling your high school? 150 grand, we'll buy it and let's make it apartments.
Right?
Let's just make it.
That's speaking to that creative aspect. And because, I mean, you see all these pictures of like the, like especially with like Olympic areas.
Right.
Like, the post 3-4 years after the Olympics were there, like you see like just ratchety buildings and things falling apart. It's like, man, like that'd be cool.
Maybe we can buy the Cashman Center.
Okay. I see you working. And I saw that too. Is that people are buying like crazy, and I had a couple of friends who reach out like, "What do you make of this Review Journal article?" You saw the Review Journal article where the corporate company came in and bought like 250.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, as being more the commercial aspect, and it's funny because I think people just think. I think from a stereotypical view, people think commercial real estate, it must be a building. Commercial real estate is anything 5 units and above.
Correct.
Right?
And even a lot of them are portfolio sales. So there's 10 single family homes or 20 units or whatever. And that could be a commercial sale because they're selling it as a portfolio altogether, not breaking it up.
And I don't think people realize that when they go to like, commercial is just buildings, gas stations, which you've done, and, hotels and things like that.
Right.
Like those are what stick out to people,
Right.
but
Office
people don't
buildings and
realize
stuff.
this other stuff. So I'll ask you, what do you make of these companies coming in? Like, what does it tell you about the market and what's going on here in Las Vegas when somebody comes in like that and buys like 250 homes?
Well, the market is hot.
Yeah.
The pricing is still reasonable because people aren't going to go. You can get a great return on your investment. And I think that when you're looking at real estate as a whole, right, it just shows the fact that the fear mongering and hey, now's not the time to buy, interest rates are too high. Everybody knows everything. It's always adjusting. Like real estate is not a short-term play.
Right.
Unless you're doing a fix and flip.
Right.
For the most part, real estate is a buy and hold. And it's funny because
So Warren Buffett style?
yeah, it's exactly Warren Buffett style. It's you buy it, you hold it. If something's wrong with the asset that it's not making money, just like Warren Buffett with his companies, I don't think it's the asset. I think it's the people running the asset.
Ooh.
That's what Warren doesn't sell anything off,
Right.
right? I was reading articles on him the other 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and what he likes to do is he always blames the management. And is the management getting stale? Is the management not understanding things? Are they not evolving? And that's why we're having issues with something versus the product.
Right.
Like Coke doesn't get old, but to get more business, are you adding new products? Are you doing different advertising? Are you getting to reach the new
Are you
generation?
adapting with the things that change?
Right. Or are you just thinking, hey, we're Coke, so people are going to come buy us forever?
Well, and that's what I had the conversation this weekend too. Is like, well, what kind of market is it? It's a real estate market. like, I'm not going to sit here and say there's a buyer's market. So what? Now all my sellers are screwed because it's a buyer's market. I'm not going to say it's a seller's market. All my buyers, like, it's a market, and that's where the agents have to step up and do their job.
Right.
Right. Like, there's money to be made. There's equity to be bought. There's a win-win set up out there. It's our job, and that's what we pride ourselves on finding it. Because, if we're sitting here telling our clients, yeah, no, you should wait till the interest rate goes down. Okay, well, while you're waiting and the market gets hotter, guess what? You might have saved, $300 on your mortgage payment now. Well, guess what? It's now costing you an extra $40,000 because you had to now compete in the market because every other Timbuktu was doing the same thing and waiting. And now you've got 10 people buying one house again.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have to, when you don't get that, because you haven't hired the right agent to put in the right contract, we haven't even gotten into, writing contracts or like escalation clauses.
Right.
Everyone just writes it just basic and like, oh, why didn't I get it?
Right.
You weren't creative. You didn't do your homework. You didn't do your research. And now your poor client's going to be like, well, I got to go to the rental market. Well, guess what? Guess what the rental market's doing? It's going up too.
Right.
Because there's not enough homes to buy.
Yeah, I have a client that the other day is looking to refi.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't do mortgages. We have partners that we use for mortgages. Not yet. But we partner with. And they're looking at, hey, I'm looking at refi. Like, well, your interest rate's 2.25%. So why are you going to refi?
All right.
They're like, well, because I want to pull some money out to look for an investment property and do this and do that. Like, okay, so why don't we look at an option of like something like a HELOC, a home equity line of credit? And he's like, well, wow. Well, what's that? So we're going over it, and I'm like, okay, so now your balance is at a higher interest rate, but it's just what you use of it. You don't have to use it all. And once you pay that off, you have it available to you again. Versus now you take all of your money out, you put it on a house, and now your entire payment goes up.
Right.
And until you find the investment property, you could do the HELOC, have the money sitting there until you find the right property that you're going to buy. And it's not costing you money. Where if you refi from 30 days in, you're going to start making payments.
Well, and it goes to your point. What did you just do with 24 plexes?
Oh yeah, no, we
right. Like I know that was still
we're still in the middle.
We're doing CPR on that thing, keeping it alive. But I mean, you start getting the right lenders that that we use and keep them involved. That's obviously their arena. But you got things like the DSCR loans.
Right.
That they don't even look at your debt to income ratio. They don't even look at it. Man, they want to
They're
close
just
to a
trying to-
1-to-1, and so
it.
you don't even got to touch that. But the fact that some of these people are misinformed or not informed, they think they only have options like, oh, well, I got to refi if I need that cash out. Well, maybe. It just depends on the situation.
Correct.
And let's make sure we exhaust all our options before we throw the towel in on a 2.5% interest rate.
Right.
Next thing you know, they're going to be out there making their own decisions. And guess what? We saw how well that worked for Jameis Winston this weekend when he thought that he should make his own decisions.
What do you think about that one?
I mean, that's a bad look.
Everybody's calling for him to get cut.
I think there has to be a stand because.
Well, as a leader, what would you do?
What
would you do if one of your people just went rogue?
I mean, and it's rogue to like in front of millions of people watching. So obviously, we find out after the game, Dennis Allen obviously doesn't call a 2-yard victory formation handoff for a touchdown.
Right.
The game's well out of hand. They're in victory formation. And so now you've got Dennis Allen who's doing their respectable thing. Your game awareness play, right? And then you've got one guy who says, I'm gonna eat W's and continue to eat W's, right? Yeah, right? Guys, I think this would be awesome. Homeboy hasn't scored a touchdown in this season. He scored some last year. what do you guys think about just giving him the ball right here? Like, and I mean, I guess somebody else in that huddle needs to step up and be like, no. But I guess you're kind of in a bad spot, in a weird spot with the play clock dropping. Like, well, what are we supposed to do? Quarterback's calling the play. You know,
Right.
most huddles are geared to think like quarterback's calling the play. And I'm sure nobody wants to be that guy. Be like, nah, sorry, Ed. We ain't giving you the ball. Like, we got to take a knee here. They're like, what? So, I mean, the fact that he put the Saints in that position, he put Dennis Allen in that position, and he basically just said, screw everybody. This is my agenda. You guys can like it or not. I'm doing my own thing. I in essence think he just gave Dennis Allen the middle finger and said, see ya. So I think you have to do something. I think you got to release him. I mean, he's like, I mean, where's he at in the depth chart anyway that he's going to help you? What happens if you release him?
Nothing.
Nothing to
Because
him, but I think you make a point.
He wasn't good enough for you to keep him as your starter because you brought in Derek Carr.
Right.
You still have Taysom Hill, and you paid him
Right.
to keep him on your roster. So, what the thing is, like, there's a time and a place for everything.
Sure.
And you as a leader, do you want those rogue people in your world, or do you want people that are going to be like, hey, this is a team, we're going to do the right thing, and then we have ethics and morals, and we're going to do the right thing, or we're just going to be like, hey, you know what? It's going to make me feel better, so we're just going to do it.
Yeah, and it's not like he was as a leader was like trying to be creative and thinking like, okay, I'm scrambling, the pocket's collapsing, I got to scramble, I got to make a decision on the fly, I got to abandon this play and take off down the field. Like this was a conscious, premeditated effort to be like, I'm going to do my own thing and just give this guy the ball and run the score up so this guy can get a touchdown. I mean, on one hand, it's like I know there was a lot of incentives in Week 18. Like I know, like Jadeveon Clowney needed like 1 sack and he got like $750,000. I saw like Baker Mayfield made the playoffs. He got like a $1 million, $2 million bonus, something like that. So
Chris Jones got $1 million for Kansas City for a sack.
You know, part of it I could be like, okay, at the end of the day, $1 million is $1 million. But this had nothing. There was literally like nothing on the line for this to happen. So I think what is it? It's called Red Monday, right? And it's typically the head coaches that are on the hot seat. I think a Red Monday calls for Jameson to see it, pal.
Yeah, that's the opposite of that, which my Dolphins had a heartbreaking loss. Our Dolphins, because you're an honorary.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I felt personally responsible, but you assured me they were losing before I applied for temporary fanship. I was starting to watch a game. I was like, man, maybe this is just me. ASU got smoked. I mean, Cardinals are not doing good. It's like maybe I'm the jinx, and Ed's like, this guy.
No.
So for the record, the Dolphins were losing before I applied for temporary fanship.
Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with me and the jinx. Okay.
Nope. We lost to the Titans before you jumped on board, so we're good. So the Bills, we ran out of timeouts. They were trying to seal the clock with a first down. They didn't try throwing the ball down the field and doing all these crazy things. Yeah. They tried a QB sneak twice. Just all I need's a yard. We stopped them. Our defense was good enough to be like, no, sorry, you're not getting a yard on us. And then our offense just couldn't do anything. But other than that, it was to your point. It's like that's what you do. I just need a first down. If I get a first down, we can run out the clock. We don't have to do anything else. Well, so why do I need to set up and not only that? I think what bothered me more than anything was they lined up in victory formation. Yeah. So the defense isn't even trying. Yeah. Right? Because it's not like you had Sean Taylor. Rest in peace, Sean. Sean Taylor would have jumped over the huddle and just whacked him. Like, that's just Sean Taylor's MO. Like, he was vicious, or LT, or one of these old school, or the Minister of Defense. Like, all those guys would have they go all out all the time.
I mean, Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis is another one.
I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything, but he might have killed Jameis Winston this time. I mean, like
he would have.
Like, because that's how you see all these scrums that happen in those moments. But it's like, this is why. This guy just threw fuel.
I think Jonathan Vilma, who was a smaller linebacker, would have killed Jameis Winston.
I mean, he just threw fuel on the fire because now you're like, well, I'm going to smoke you next time. And then the quarterback's going to be like, well, why are you hitting? Like, because you did this stuff. Don't be an idiot. Right. You do idiot things that you can get idiot results.
It's kind of like the baseball paybacks.
Yeah. Dude, you knew when your pitcher, like, when like you hit a guy and, maybe it was on accident, maybe it wasn't, but then you're just like in the back of your head, you're thinking like, okay, well, We know what's coming, like who's up next. Then there's that moment you're going through the lineup in your head. You're just like, son of a, I'm up next. And you just knew. Like, you didn't even need to go up with the bat.
Did you know
Oh,
that?
You knew it was
You
coming.
knew when you played, because you played at a higher level.
Yeah,
You
knew
played
it
in
was
college
coming.
and stuff.
You knew it was coming.
You knew it. You prepared yourself mentally to get hit.
But this is the way the unwritten rule has guidelines. Like there's unwritten guidelines. Like
So what's the guideline?
so the guideline is okay for whatever happened, whatever. Our team goes out and hits you, right?
Right.
And let's say it's to send a message. Let's say you were popping off or whatever.
Or you're crowding the plate or whatever.
Right, you get smoked. And tensions fly, and the team. I'm coming up next inning. Okay, you're gonna get it. The pitcher's got one shot. And you got to keep it. You got to keep it below. You got to keep it below the head. Dude, you're aiming for the middle of the back, and you just. Yeah, I know. And
The
most
kidneys.
you hope you get it right in the tush. Okay, but you got a shot. You can't throw at the guy 3 times. Like you got to just hit him, move it, and keep it moving. And you as the hitter, I think, you just got to know what's coming. Like you can't fight back. You hit him first. Like you don't be charging the mound. Like take your lumps. It is what it is.
But even if you weren't the guy that hit him. Do they only hit the guy that hit them, or do they hit because in what is it, the American League?
Yeah.
That the pitcher doesn't bat.
Well, why do you think Pedro Martinez used to hit so many guys? There was no repercussions. He was probably the most hated teammate of all time because
Somebody else gets it for you.
Hitting people. But that reminds me of
What is it, like a twofer?
No,
I did it twice.
It's a one for.
It's a one
It's a one for. Then it's done. Okay, it's either so. Here's your options. They hit you. You got one shot to hit them back. If you're gonna fight, you fight. Then it's done. You move on. Okay? But after that, it's over. You can't have whoa, we hit you, you hit us back, we're going to hit you again. Like, well, you hit them first. And it's a one for, and you got to keep it moving. I think was still one of my favorite ones was Joe Kelly. When he was pitching for the Red Sox, and there was a Yankees Red Sox that was already always heated, and he hauled off and smoked the guy. The guy looked at him. Joe Kelly dropped his glove, and he's like, "Come on, let's go. Let's get.
We're gonna do this.
Let's go. I know what I did. And I did it. I did it with intent. Let's go. So I think it serves a purpose. It's just like the manager getting thrown out of a baseball game.
So where was the hardest place you got hit?
Oh gosh, it's been so long. I mean, as I'm getting older, it hurts anywhere I get hit.
No, but when you were playing, when you were younger, where was a place you were like?
I would say probably the worst spot is that on your knee. So I'm a right-handed hitter, so my left knee is exposed, obviously. And sometimes we get in this habit where we try to slide back, and we can't really slide as far as we think, or sometimes we slide into a bad spot. So man, when you catch that ball right in the knee, dude, because that's just bone there, dude. And I mean, so it's debilitating. You feel like it's broken, you can't walk, you're hobbling, you're like a sniper shot you in the kneecap, and you're walking wounded to get down to first base. That's probably besides getting smoked in the face or something, you're working lower body area, man, you don't want it in the kneecap.
So how many times did you get hit?
I mean, I got hit a decent amount. I like to get on the plate a little bit. I like to make the pitcher run. Because see, when getting on the plate, as a pitcher, right, you're kind of taught own the plate. So you got to start off by throwing inside to back the hitters off to let them know, hey, that's going to be my plate. Because if you let me as a hitter jump all over the plate, then now as a pitcher, you don't want to hit me. You start painting the middle of the plate, which now is an inside fastball to me.
Right.
Okay? Then if you hit that outside corner now because you're trying to pitch away from me, well, that's now middle
home
away
run
for me.
Right.
So I'm just going to drive that to the right center gap. Thank you for the double. Right. And if you miss farther than that because you're trying to pitch outside of me, well, ball 1, 2, 3, and 4. Thanks for the free base.
Right.
So it's tough as a pitcher and a hitter, and that's why you see these hit by pitches, and then these hitters sometimes will just get egregious and be like, "Well, bro, you're standing on the plate."
That's
get off the plate.
That was
that's where you see a lot of
that
it.
was our oldest son Jay. He would actually when he saw that the pitcher had smoke or something, and he's like, I'm not gonna hit it. He just lean into it. He's like, I'm gonna take it. I'm getting a base.
We had a guy like that on our team in high school, and I mean, he just thumbing. He was a middle linebacker in football too.
Okay.
It was straight out of the scene of Happy Gilmore where he's in the batting. He was like, 364 more days till a hockey try. Boom, boom. That's how this kid was, and he was a bruiser, dude. It was awesome. But here again, it goes back to all these unwritten rules, whether you like them or agree with them or not. It is what it is. Dude, you hit a home run. And it's like right out of Bull Durham,
Right.
right? When that guy hits a home run, he tells him what pitch is coming because
Right.
Nick Lachey shook him off.
Right.
He's like, I give you a gift and you stand there and stare down my pitcher like, run, dummy. Right? Like, if you hit a ball and you're going to pimp it down the line or stare down that pitcher or
And
do this
showboat
all
it.
good, you better get ready because someone's getting it. Like, someone's getting it. And that's the one where I feel like as a pitcher, like, on the other team, it's like, well, bro, like, I know you're my boy, but, like, I mean,
You started
bat
it.
flipped it 30 yards. You walked all the way down to first. You pulled the bow and arrow out. Like, right? Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, you just can't get away with that stuff, you know? Like,
Oh, jeez. Okay, so that's
hey, man, it is what it is.
so gotta text our buddy.
Yeah, listen, we got to let Pat know we got his back.
We got his back. We're
You
definitely on
can't
his
take
side.
over the world if you don't have McAfee on your side.
Nope. You need McAfee to take over the world.
I mean, that guy took over the world, man. I remember when I first started listening to him, like, he was with his boys in the basement and working in and out of there and trying to work soundboards and weird stuff. And now he's front and center in the middle of game day. You know, he's got these sponsorships. And I mean, but I think the thing that I respect the most, I mean, obviously we're best friends, so I know everything.
Yeah, you know everything
besides
about
the
him.
fact that we're not best friends and know nothing, from all appearances, he seems to have been true to himself.
Right.
Right? You know, it's like he's always called people out. He's always said what's on his mind, right, wrong, or indifferent. It seems like that's the guy he's been from what I've been watching him over the last couple of years. So
Right.
when he sees something like this and he doesn't think it's right, like,
And he was a tough punter. And he was a tough punter.
dude.
He jacked some people up. Like, he's jacked.
Yeah, he's a dude, man. What was that Vic Fangio, right?
Yeah.
He's a dude. What was that we called Josh Allen?
Yep.
That guy's a dude, man.
Can we not mention that name today?
Yikes.
Josh Allen's a little tough for me to swallow today.
Just underneath the pile a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
eye gouging or something. I don't know. That would work.
That's what I was wishing for. But you know what, though? Somebody was saying this. So if we would have won last night, we would have had to play them again next week.
Oh, really? That's how it worked
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, they would have dropped to the 7th seed, and we would have to play them. Now we're going to Kansas City, 0 degree. 0 degrees. It's going to be freezing.
Bro, you got to play. Taylor Swift's boyfriend is on that team.
I know. We got to play that team, so it's going to be tough. But it might be better than playing Josh Allen again. We've already played him twice,
think the
and it
only-
hasn't gone over well
I think
either
the best
time.
thing that happens for the Dolphins right now is that they just start looking forward to the draft and move on to next season. Things aren't going well.
Nope.
Things aren't going well.
Nope. All right, buddy. Crush it this week.
Taking over the world.
Let's do it.